Hi, I am Dr. J.P. Silvera from TaylorMade Health and Wellness, and a few days ago a patient sat down across from me and said something I hear more often than you might think. She said, I felt completely fine after the crash. I figured I was just lucky. Then I woke up on day 3 and couldn't turn my head. She wasn't unlucky. She was completely textbook normal, and that gap, feeling fine on day 1 and barely able to move on day 3, is exactly what I want to walk you through today. Because if you or someone you care about has been in any kind of car accident recently, even a slow one, even a fender bender in a parking lot, this information could save you months of unnecessary pain and a lot of confusion about what is actually happening inside your body. Here's the first thing you need to understand. When your car takes a hit, your nervous system does something extraordinary. It floods your bloodstream with adrenaline. And adrenaline is a surprisingly effective painkiller. It is not trying to trick you. Your body is trying to protect you, to keep you alert, to get you out of danger. But what it does in the process is mask the injury that just happened. The soft tissue in your neck, the muscles, the ligaments, the small, stabilizing structures around your cervical spine, those can be strained, compressed, or irritated, and you will feel almost nothing in that moment because the adrenaline is doing its job too well. Then the adrenaline fades. That usually takes anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. And as it clears out of your system, your body finally gets the message it was holding back. The muscles tighten up around the injured area. That is a protective reflex. Your body is trying to splint itself, trying to prevent further damage. But that tightening creates pressure. It restricts blood flow. It limits range of motion. And it refers pain up into the base of your skull, across your shoulders, and sometimes behind your eyes in the form of headaches. That is why day 3 feels like a different injury than day 1. It isn't. It is the same injury finally speaking loud enough for you to hear it. Now here is where people make a mistake that costs them. They wait, they figure it will pass, they take some ibuprofen, they put a heating pad on it, and they tell themselves to give it a week. And sometimes, for minor cases, some of that discomfort does settle. But the underlying soft tissue damage does not resolve itself just because the pain dials back a little. Scar tissue can form. Compensatory muscle patterns develop where other muscles start overworking to protect the ones that are hurt. And weeks or months later, you are dealing with chronic stiffness, recurring headaches, or a nagging ache in your upper back that you cannot fully explain anymore. The other mistake people make is assuming that because the accident was minor, the injury must be minor too. Speed does not always correlate with injury severity. The angle of impact, the position of your head at the moment of contact, whether your muscles were braced or relaxed, whether your headrest was properly positioned, all of those factors matter as much as how fast the other car was going. I have seen significant cervical strain from impacts under 15 miles per hour, and I have seen people walk away from much harder hits with very little soft tissue involvement. You cannot judge it from the outside. What helped that patient, the one who came in on day 3, was simple, but it mattered. She got a proper examination. We were able to identify exactly what was injured, and just as importantly, what was not injured. We explained everything we found in plain language, no jargon, no vague reassurances, just a clear picture of what her neck had been through and what her body was doing in response. We built a treatment plan around her actual injury, not a generic protocol, and because car accident cases come with insurance paperwork that most people have never dealt with before, we handled that process for her so she was not trying to navigate it while also recovering. She asked me afterward why nobody told her symptoms could be delayed like that. And honestly, I think most people just do not know. The assumption is that if you were injured, you would feel it immediately. That is not how soft tissue trauma works. That is not how adrenaline works. And that is not how your cervical spine responds to sudden acceleration and deceleration forces. So let me give you the practical version of everything I just said. If you have been in any kind of accident in the last few days, whether you feel pain right now or not, there are a few things worth knowing. First, the absence of immediate pain is not a diagnosis. It is not evidence that nothing happened.